Kia ora, welcome to the morning ramble for 7th of July 2022. Today is Thursday. Weirdly, it is not hosing down with thunderstorms this morning, but apparently we do have them in our future, so go water, which is the thing that I was thinking about this morning and last night and yesterday evening is water. Some of this was triggered by some comments on living free in Tennessee, some of the YouTube channels that we listen to on live streams and such, which we're talking about not drought per se, but the fact that there hasn't been a lot of it in some of the parts of Tennessee that we aim to be in. But Dawn and I have already talked about this anyway, and water is an important part of what we're going to be doing moving forwards. We do not have city water on the property. We are off-grid, we'll be off-grid, which is a little daunting. And as we get kind of closer to the mark, honestly, I'm kind of going, are we going to be as prepared as we're actually intending to be prepared? But then again, I refer to that kind of leap of faith I've spoken to about. At some point you think you've got as many I's dotted and T's crossed as you can, so you just have to do it and just hope the universe will sort it out, along with some sweat equity and maybe a little bit of cash as well, who knows. Anyway, water. We're going to be in the RV initially, and we'll be putting some small buildings on the property while we work on the next phase. So this just follows phase zero being the excavation and everything else as well. So our initial water requirements are not going to be particularly heavy for Dawn and I, but the obvious candidates are potable water, drinking water. We do have a stream on the property. The water seems to be good. We haven't had it formally professionally tested, but we have put it through some of the lab tests that you can get, lab test kits, and it's not come back with anything dire. But again, you always want to be careful, so making sure that we've got the appropriate filters in place where they need to be installed is a thing. Catchment systems, there are many designs, many types. Certainly we can throw money at it and put something that's kind of slick and professional in place, but to start with, we're probably going to go with using the totes that we have here, and we'll be rigging a solution together that allows us to capture water from the roof of the RB and some of the outbuildings to put into containment, and from there we'll be looking to pump that into the necessary areas. And the RV initially has a holding tank. We could just fill the holding tank up with water cooler bottles or some of those inflatable bladders that you can basically get, whatever. But ideally we would like to be able to use the rainwater that we do collect when it does rain, and be able to make use of that as well. And this is all stuff that we have to winterize, because Tennessee is a little more towards a tropical environment than what we have here by a few degrees. It still gets cold, still snows, all that sort of stuff. So you still have to cover all four seasons, even if they don't quite have necessarily the same temperature and or durational impact. Times they are changing, and you kind of have to allow for climate as well. So yeah, water. Obviously totes hold a substantial amount of water, very heavy, not likely to be moved. Need to make sure that they've got the appropriate protections in place so that algae and stuff don't contaminate our water source. So skirtings and things to basically block out light, and the necessary pipes and things to get them from A to B. We will probably be pre-filtering it. Been looking at some of the systems. They're not particularly difficult to put together, using 5-gallon buckets and a series of sand and gravel filters to act as natural filters. We'll get most of the gunk out. Any extra contaminants that kind of sit in there will be taken care of by filters at the drinking water end, or on entry, probably both, on entry to the actual water tank in the RV as well. Making sure that there's a mesh there just in case something did get missed or was introduced is not a bad idea. It also stops bugs and things getting in if there is a hole, which there shouldn't be, but things like to burrow and chisel. So I think I'm okay. I think we're okay with our general plans. A lot of this is down to placement, where things are going to live. And the other thing too is how much water can you actually get off the roofs, based on the surface area. So that's a to be determined, but there are ways and means around that. If we don't get enough water from the guttering on the RV, and or guttering around the building that we have on the property initially, then we're just going to have to get a little more creative. You can do some things with galvanized steel and lay them down like tracks on top of the RV and use those to catch and channel a wider amount of water, and that may be something that we need to do. But the other side to that is that once you've reached capacity in your totes anyway, that is pretty much your water supply. The rest is just top up. I mentioned a while back in a ramble about rough sizing, your water needs and capacity. Well, that's based on a household and livestock and everything that we do on the homestead here. Not really applicable to the initial move because we're not going to be moving as much. Probably a little more applicable once we get closer to the kids deciding what they're going to do and starting to get them set up and in anticipation of cleaning this place up for sale, realistically sometime next year. If somebody comes out of the blue and just gives us an offer outright, in which case we probably won't turn it down. But anywho, these are timing decisions, and we just have to roll with those. Can't force certain things. But yeah, so the water consumption should be able to be worked out. Hello, get some mushrooms. That's good. Mushrooms in the field is always good, as long as they're not poisonous. Where was I? Yeah, so I think we're going to be set initially. Future expansion will probably want to be a larger water reservoir. Something that means we don't have to worry about drought periods, or water through those drought periods. And the other thing I've been looking at is wells. I call them sand point wells. Starting to look into the soil and the general area to see if that's even viable. We need to kind of determine where the water table is, given that we're actually higher up compared to the property that we were looking at on the other side of the road originally, way back. That was low and definitely closer to the river floodplains and all that stuff. We're a little higher up, but then again, we have a valley which the stream wanders down, but the stream is very much subject to actual water falling out of the sky because of the soil type. It drains pretty well, but that water has to drain somewhere. So may do some experiments with that. Sandpoint well, for those that aren't familiar, is one of those ones where you drive a spike into the ground. Some people do dowsing, some people just understand that they have a water table and go to a little bit of common sense and luck. But the bottom line is you drive the spike into the ground down to a depth which is roughly equivalent to your water table. It's usually no more than about 25 feet. And then install a well pump on that, and that will give you water. And depending on the type of water, which is, in your particular water table, that may be good water, maybe bad water, who knows. That all has to be tested and checked out. But anyway, that's another thing which I've been looking into. They're relatively inexpensive, and it may give us an alternative. But I don't think it's something that we can drive close to the property. We still have to go a distance to do this, because of where things are placed on the land and ridges and hills and things. Anyways, that's water. That's some things we're thinking about with water. A lot of stuff rattling around at the moment, and we're getting to a point where I think we're starting to finalise plans. I'm not sure if we're going to do some videos on that, just to go through what we're thinking, give people the opportunity to go, you're completely batshit insane, whatever, or woohoo, go guys, which is always a good positive affirmation. We're kind of doing the best we can around work, day jobs and stuff, and the remote challenges of being 400 miles away from actually where we're going to be ending up, which is kind of is exciting and challenging given gas prices at the moment. So yeah, we're just getting there. So thought of the day, resources. Resources are important, and I think they're becoming increasingly important now. People are realising that with food supply shortages imminent, it's not a case of will there be food supply shortages. Yes, there will be. Gas, plenty of gas, but you're paying for it. Power. We've had brownouts here. We've actually had multiple brownouts here, which we've really, I can't remember the last time we've had so many brownouts. So power grid is obviously not in a good way. Power prices are going up. Cost of living is going up. Recession, as I've said, is well and truly here, but it's only going to bite harder. All these things kind of end up in a timeline where, unless you start doing something now, then you're literally going to get caught with your pants down when the time comes. And some preparedness is better than no preparedness. So just be aware, and maybe start, if you haven't already, just get on with it. Don't hold back through fear or is this really going to happen? The worst thing that can happen is you end up with some extra bits and pieces tucked away for a rainy day, no pun intended, and you get to use them in when things get better. So hey, win-win, right? So do it now while things are about as cheap as they're going to be for the foreseeable future. Don't hold back, and you may find that you don't regret that later. Okay, take care, be good out there, kia ora, ciao for now, bye.